A changing landscape indeed. Now for more analysis on Lula's victory in Brazil and what it means for Latin America. We're joined by Nelson Franco Jobim. He joins us from Rio de Janeiro. He is a journalist and university lecturer on international relations. Nelson, thank you so much for coming in. Now, we have heard the term pink tide before, a name given to the region after leftist-leaning governments swept into power within that region some 2 decades ago. We are seeing it again, but conditions are vastly different. Are the changes today fueled by ideology or something else going on?
Well, I think that the region has an economic problem for a long time. So this changes of government, this moves from right to the left now, is a result of the failure of the government to provide a better economic environment. Of course, we had the pandemic in the last 2 years, plus the war on Ukraine right now, the war in Ukraine, and the energy crisis and inflation that comes with it. And so we had this new leftist governments.
Right.
And Lula particularly, yes. And Lula particularly has the challenge of make the economy grow again. When Lula was elected in 2002, China was growing at more than 10% a year, and China became the largest trading partner of Brazil. So the economic environment now is completely different, but the success of Lula depends on, of course, on the success on the economics.
Yeah, and Lula also has that history of pulling some 30 million people out of poverty and so much support, especially among those who need the most. Now, to what degree do you think that the election, if you will, is a rejection of right-wing leaders and voters fed up, as you mentioned, and this time driven by pragmatism?
Yeah, I think that the election was more a rejection of Bolsonaro than well, most people probably voted for Lula because they want to get rid of Bolsonaro. Bolsonaro had a very bad performance during the pandemic. Brazil is the country with more death after the United States and had a very bad mortality rate. And now the expectation that we'll have more democratic government, less tension, less war. I mean, this political war that Bolsonaro incentivizes all the time. Now their followers are blocking roads in 22 states, and the Supreme Court has already told the police that they have to unblock those roads. But we are still expecting who's going to be the next Minister of Finance, to see what the direction of the country is going to be. And there is expectation in the market that this new Minister of Finance, the new Minister of Finance, will not be from the Workers' Party.
Nelson, we don't have a lot of time. I kind of want to get you to talk a bit more about COVID. Nearly 700,000 deaths in Brazil, not to mention what's gone on in the rainforest, the deforestation, the punishment of the indigenous people. Talk a bit about that, the frustration that people in that region went through because Bolsonaro basically turned his back on COVID.
Well, Bolsonaro was considered by Ian Bremmer of the Eurasia Group the worst head of state during the pandemic. And lately, when he realized that his popularity was very bad, he invested and bought the vaccines that the country needed. And in the end, the vaccines helped to control the pandemic. And his popularity grew because he gave money to the people to face the difficult economic situation. So we realized that giving money to the people would help him in the election, but it was not enough.
Indeed. Nelson Franco Jobim, thank you so much. We appreciate your insight on this.